Hello everybody, Daniel Gaines here. Got interesting developments taking place. Their due date was due Saturday, which according to Missouri rules, technically it would have been due today, but the reason I said in my last video it was due Friday is because the judge in the state judge, Rathert, who was supposed to have the case, he has a history dating back to 2011, 2012, I forget what it is, as a judge. He started in the municipal court. And he's got an easily verifiable and documented history of throwing out pro se litigants documents if they're filed the Monday after, despite what state rules allow for. So I was going to make him hold things to the same standard, or use that as an excuse to start establishing, anyway, grounds to expose his ass in a suit as well. So, their response came in today, and Michelle Stallings, the attorney for all of them, she's from the Attorney General's office, so Andrew Bailey's going to have a lot to answer for when all is said and done, since he obviously knows these people are criminals, and he's still running protection for them, ignoring evidence to do so, and allowing them to violate rights, but I digress. Anyway, she went ahead and filed the federal removal. Well, I'll obviously be objecting because it's a state matter, not a federal matter, as all these actors are state actors. So, regardless of what happens there, whether they deny my objection or allow it to be removed or whatever the case is, that's where things stand as of now with this. Further, it really doesn't matter what court they send it to, because the objection is going to be based on the same things. For one, I know exactly what she's doing. She's hoping it'll go to the same judge that threw out my lawsuit last time. She's forum and judge shopping is what she's doing. However, this time, the clown in the robe, the corrupt clown in the robe, she's going to be removed if it's the same federal judge as last time. And I'll be citing Tinsley to ensure it. But there's other things I can do to ensure the judge has no choice but to step off the case. And I'll be doing every fucking bit of it to ensure that judge doesn't fucking touch this case. Fuck that clown in the robe. She's a corrupt bitch too. And don't worry, all the shit about her, it's going places too. See, is what they don't realize is the outcomes aren't necessarily important to me. They are, but they aren't. It's not like I'm trying to get rich. That's what I mean by that. I don't care if I get any money at all. I'd settle things for $1. Plus punitive and compensatory damages, of course. My time's not free and they should be punished. But as far as the civil damages, I'd settle that for $1. So long as people were held to account. That's the problem. The state actors don't want to hold them to account. And they run to the corrupt fucking federal judge who's known to protect corrupt fucking state and federal actors. But what they can't count on is the evidence I have. What they can't count on is what happens whenever I send all of this to the FBI, to the DOJ Civil Rights Division, to the state legislature, to Andrew Bailey personally, to the governor's office, to the state and federal inspector generals. What are they going to do when I force state and federal grand juries and I get to present all this to them? They can't get around any of that. And Michelle, darling, just so you know how stupid it was for you to jump the gun on this, you should have stalled it out in the state courts for a time being first, you stupid fuck. See, this is why I say that these attorneys are outclassed. This is going to get good in a second. Wait. Damn cigarette went out. Hold on. Yeah, I'm an idiot. I mean smoker. But at least I'm self-aware about it, right? Anyway, see, she jumped the gun. You should have really waited, sweetheart, because now the thing of it is, the criminal trial, for the reason I'm suing them, is going to go or be thrown out before the federal matter gets fully dealt with. What happens if I prove that the whole case was brought by fraud? Now you're getting the federal courts involved whenever your clients are guilty of fraud before the court and allowing fraud to be the basis for criminal charges because other public servants wanted it. That's deprivation of rights, fraud before the court, criminal conspiracy against rights. Let's see. Seeing as they're trying to get a fine, because, well, no jail time is what Dugan and Stuckey both said. So that's trying to elicit funds. So that's, what, racketeering? I could tie it into. So, I mean, you should have waited and seen what happened with that. And then y'all would have been able to make a smarter play. However, they don't realize the tricks I have up my sleeve. When I say corrupt judges and corrupt attorneys taught me well, I don't just say that. Who else would use a lawsuit in the middle of a fucking trial to remove a judge who refuses to remove himself? Me, I will. Why? Because I know legally I can. Most people wouldn't know that or even think about that. But yet, I do. And see, I didn't even cite Tinsley in that case. Wasn't going to. The judge knew he fucked up. He knew royally. And since Michelle Stallings and the Attorney General's office want to play games about shit instead of holding these people to account, I'm going to go ahead and release the audio recording of the Star Chamber session. I'm going to release that this weekend. Not in its entirety, mind you. It's an hour and a half, so it won't be in its entirety. But I'm going to show you the claims I made in my lawsuit. I'm going to play those for you. You'll hear them from the judge and the prosecutor's own mouth. And the reason I'm going to go ahead and put them out early is, well, to make people sweat a bit. Because, well, they're obviously watching my videos, probably even including now someone from the Attorney General's office, Missouri Attorney General, that is, not federal, but state. And with that being the case, I want them to get real fucking nervous because the courts don't have the audio recordings yet. Local courts denied me the opportunity to and a means to file them. So it just looks like I'm making these claims and there's no proof of it outside of the charging document that clearly proves it was falsified. I didn't submit the policy yet to the courts. That was done on purpose as well. Because, well, when they file their motion to dismiss, that's when I'm going to present all that. But as far as the audio recordings, well, if it goes to the federal courts day one, once I get everything set up with the federal courts to e-filing that, I will be reaching out to the clerk, getting Dropbox email address, and submitting the audio recordings. Just the two from the court hearings alone, you'll clearly hear me bring up the fraud more than once. And whenever I play the second one for y'all, you're going to hear me bring it up, and you're going to hear the Judge Stuckmeyer, tell me that it's my responsibility to bring it up to the jury and hope they deal with it. Now, the best part is, Stuckey and them want to put emails into the case that have nothing to do with the actual matter. And in those emails, they didn't want to redact email addresses of people who aren't parties to the case. So, since they get to get away with it, next week, or well, as soon as there's a judge assigned in the criminal matter, I will be, the same day there's a judge or the very next day, I will be supplying emails without redactions to the court record. And one of the emails I'll be providing to the court record, to the public record, is the email where I sent people's addresses to. Now, they're going to want to raise a big fucking deal about me putting their addresses on the public record. That's with intent too. See, the thing of it is, if they come after me for it, Molly, the court administrator for the municipal court, Judge Stuckey's clerk, she's got to be hemmed up as well. Otherwise, it's an automatic 14th Amendment violation, because if she's allowed to do it, so am I. They don't get to pick what information I don't redact. They're required to redact things. I have an obligation to redact things. They don't have to comply. I don't. And I'm done playing this fucking game with them. So, it's time to really get fucking wild. Just wait. Just wait. Because the court's going to have some fucking difficult questions posed to them. And I'm going to force them to answer one way or another. Or I'm going to force them to go through the process to find out. But more about that at a later time. Let's just say I'm not scared of jail if it ever comes to that. I'll be all right. Jailhouse lawyers don't get fucked with too much. That's a fact. People want their help. They don't tend to fuck with them too often. Plus, I'm not a disrespectful piece of shit like them. So, and I can handle myself anyway if it comes to it. Grew up fucking as an asshole fighting and shit. So, I'm not too worried about it. Hope it never comes to that, but in the end, it's going to come down to a simple decision. Either the law doesn't apply to them or it doesn't apply to me. Which one is it? And then we go from there. No, it's not a threat. I don't wish harm on anybody. Well, physical harm. I do wish to destroy their careers, ruin their careers, destroy their reputations, and everything else because of their criminal conduct. But outside of that, I don't want to see anybody physically come to harm. I don't want anybody's family to suffer the way that they've forced mine to. So, but if I have to do things to ensure accountability and that lands me in any kind of trouble, so be it. I'll be all right. Like I said, accountability is what I'm after. Nothing else. I can give a fuck less about anything else. Hold these motherfuckers to account. We're all good. And it ain't even got to be holding them to account. It's, well, the ones who are already guilty, yes. But going forward, make sure they're actually fucking punished if they violate their oath of office, if they violate people's rights, if they violate the law from the bench or as a prosecutor. It's not hard, or at least it shouldn't be. But for these dumb fucks, it's mission impossible. Ultimately, though, this message is for Michelle. Like I said, sweetheart, you shouldn't have jumped the gun. You should have stalled it in the state court at least long enough for the criminal matter to go forward to see what's going to happen. Because if they do throw it out, I'm going to force them to put on the record why. They're not going to be able to secretly throw it out because I watch CaseNet like a hawk. So the second they do, I'll be filing to require them, because, well, the Supreme Court case precedent requires that sufficient legal reason be given in any court order to dismiss something or anything else. So I'll be forcing them to give me the legal reason. And no matter how it comes out, it's not helpful to your case. So again, you should have made your clients be honest and tell the truth. Or you should have at least emailed me and been like, hey, since the audio recordings are clearly noted in the court record and we don't have them, can you get those to me so that way I have access to them? I would have given them to him because it's already part of the court record anyway. Or at least it's noted in the court record that there are audio recordings. So as it's part of the original filing, I'd be required to give her the Dropbox link as soon as she asked. As is, she's filing documents without having the most crucial piece of evidence, the recordings themselves. She's got the document, she doesn't have the policy. And she's too arrogant and conceited to bother looking into it herself to see if there was actually fucking fraud. These people are stupid. They're out of their league, and they don't realize it because they want to shop, judge and forum shop for favorable judges, favorable to the corrupt public servants. Like I said, it goes to the same corrupt clown in the robe. I guarantee you, she won't be the one fucking touching this case. I guarantee you that. You can take note of that I said that on November 12th at 2:45 p.m. standing in my driveway in Missouri, Jefferson County, Missouri. The same judge will not touch this. I will cite Tinsley to get rid of her. And there's also going to be things in my filing that ensures she has no choice but to recuse. You know, for example, if you talk bad about a judge, they automatically have to recuse because then the appearance of impropriety alone forces them out. So doing something such as calling them a corrupt clown in a robe in a document filed with the court becomes a conflict for them to stay on the case. It gives the appearance of impropriety, and will very easily tilt into actual impropriety, and that alone can cause a lot of problems for a judge, including a federal judge. And I'm very much aware of these facts. And I'll be using everything I can to ensure it's a different judge. Why? Because these federal judges aren't immune from my wrath either. I'm going after them just as much as the state judges. What, y'all think this is only about state and local actors? Fuck no. I'm sick of the corruption. I actually take my oath seriously to protect and defend the Constitution of the United States against all enemies, foreign and the domestic fucks. They're just actually lucky I'm a law-abiding citizen. And I mean fucking lucky. Take that however you wish. I don't give a fuck. Y'all are lucky I'm a law-abiding citizen. Because if not, I would have dealt with things. However, I won't, because the law says I can't. Which is sad and pathetic. But people a lot smarter than me make the laws. Well, the Constitution anyway. Lawmakers are mostly fucking idiots nowadays, but the founding fathers were far smarter than I'll ever be, so I'll put faith in their wisdom and not my own. But I'll follow the law. And like I said, ultimately, I don't want to see harm come to anybody, physical harm that is. I just want to see them held accountable to whatever that comes to. By any means, I don't give a shit. But it will be going to the Inspector General's state legislature. I'm going to get in contact with some federal representatives and see if I can't get it before them to address some of this corruption and rot in the state judiciary and the state offices. It's going to the FBI, the DOJ, and even all the information about the federal judge. See, the first federal judge, she doesn't realize I already have her entire judicial record. And whichever judge gets assigned to this too, the day that judge is assigned, maybe the next day, depending on when it is. But within a couple days, I'll have their entire judicial record as well. Judge Rathard, I've got his entire judicial record. Stuckey, I've got all the prosecutor's information, including the information as to why Emmons is no longer with the Jefferson County Prosecutor's Office. Wait till I release that information. They're not going to like that. And I'm doing it all in a journalistic capacity because, well, taxpayers have a right to know how their tax money is being spent. Now, it's irrelevant how the information came to my possession. I didn't do anything illegal to obtain it. I can't help information that people give to me. But I've tried to say for decades now, information's not my problem. In fact, information's far from my problem. I have access to more information than probably any of the state actors do, including judges, the Attorney General's office, and everybody else. You really don't want to know how. We'll just leave it at that. But I have access to a lot of information. I have police officers' jackets. I have a lot of stuff. However, for the most part, addresses, social security numbers, date of births, things like that, I won't make public. Only because I'm not going to dox people. I don't believe in that kind of pettiness. Well, okay. I believe in tit for tat. So the email with addresses in it, it's not everybody's, but it's a few of theirs. That'll be put on the public record only because they want to put unredacted information on the public record. They want to go back to doing things the right way, then so will I, and I'll redact everything I'm supposed to redact. Until then, fuck you. Fair game. Come at me, please. Let me get in front of more judges to sue you stupid fucks. And because since they want to keep playing games, I'm going to go ahead and file the lawsuit against Stacy for the court rule, quote unquote, that she has in effect that's a violation of my fucking First Amendment rights, since they don't want to remove the sign and they want to play games. And the beauty of it is, any suit I file in the state of Missouri, it only costs $100 to file that motherfucker. $95 if you want to be technical. That's it. Whereas if they want to remove them to the federal, they're going to pay over $400 a pop. And eventually, even the federal courts are going to get tired of seeing this shit. Based on the evidence, they're clearly going to see that there's quite a bit of corruption in this county. And eventually they're going to have no choice but to have it looked into anyway. So no matter how it goes, in the end, I win. They don't understand the game we're playing. Name of the game is Daniel wins. Might not be now, might not be a year from now, it might not even be 5 years from now. But in the end, I win. Especially considering all I want is accountability. I want the law upheld. Nothing more. Again, should be simple, right? Not to these stupid, corrupt motherfuckers. But tyrants are going to do what tyrants are going to do. Good thing there's a constitution that allows we the people to do what we the people need to do. There's a First Amendment that lets us speak out about it. There's a Second Amendment that lets us put an end to it. There's a Fourth Amendment that affords due process. There's a Fifth Amendment and a Sixth Amendment that help against bullshit prosecution and double jeopardy. There's a 14th Amendment right to due process. I mean, there's multiple different avenues to push from. Now, everything I do will be through the courts. But the rest of it is fun to think about. Even I can't deny that. Imagining these judges getting skinned alive because that was still legal, or, gallows in the public square type of thing because that was still legal. It's fun to think about. And it really does need to make a comeback, if being honest. That back then, whenever that shit was the punishment for the type of bullshit they're engaged in, it didn't happen often. Why? Because they were actually held to account. So, maybe there was something to the way they used to do things as far as accountability went. But when you get judges and attorneys who become lawmakers, they got to protect their own. And that's what you're seeing here. So, I'll keep y'all posted. This weekend, watch for it, because you will be seeing me post a video with the audio recording of Stuckey, Dugan, Kunzel, Cruz, and Miley. I don't know how to say her last name. It's some fucking weird ass name. I don't even know where it's from. It could be German or something, somewhere over in that region. Possibly, I don't know for sure. But I'll show y'all her last name. But anyway, actually it might even be in a video whenever I showed who all was listed in the lawsuit. But either way, I will be posting the video of, because we'll see, the thing of it is about that audio recording, not video, my bad. The audio recording, Miley was in the courtroom that day. Cruz was the bailiff. Dugan was the prosecutor. Jalissa Kunzel, or whatever her last name was sitting right next to fucking Dugan the whole time during that hearing. Hey, how bitch, I know that was you too. And then you got Stuckey, who was presiding over the hearing. They knew it was being recorded. They knew they engaged in the Star Chamber session, violated rights and everything else. And I'm going to show that. What y'all hear is where the bailiff said the judge is closing the courtroom down. You'll hear shortly after that where the judge says shutting the courtroom down is a Sixth Amendment violation. He's right, even though he had just done it. You're going to hear him tell me that case law can only be used if every fact of the case is identical, because he knows that's bullshit. You're going to hear the part where he claimed I was seeking legal information until I cited his code of conduct at him, and then he quickly answered the question because he knew he got caught in engaging in misconduct. And then most importantly, you're going to hear the part where I bring up the fraud and he tells me, Mr. Gaines, bring that up to the jury, see if they deal with it. It's your responsibility. Not exactly phrased like that, but all those words are in there, so you'll hear it for yourself. And then I want y'all to tell me, who's the liar in this? Is it me? Or is it them? Because don't worry, you're going to see their federal court filings too. Oh yes, I'm going to show you all of the shit that they're claiming. Yep, fuck these people. And they can go ahead and issue a gag order or anything else. I won't comply. They can suck a dick. Quite frankly. Eat a whole bag of fucking dicks. Choke on a fucking dick and die for all I give a fuck. I won't comply. Send me to jail. Let the judge hold me in contempt. That entitles me to a hearing where I get to question that fucking clown in the robe. Please do. All I need is an opportunity on the record to question these fucks, and they're screwed. I don't even need to question them. I just need the chance on the record. And that's why she's judge shopping and forum shopping, trying to prevent me from getting on the record, because in the Missouri courts, they know damn good and well they have to give me the hearing. Whereas in the federal courts with the right judge, that judge will ignore my rights, ignore the Constitution, and just throw the matter out to protect the public servants. And that's exactly why stalling is fucking forum and judge shopping. Not gonna work this time, you stupid bitch. Trust me, I got you faded on that one, pimp. Yeah, I get to be an idiot sometimes too. Just to be a smart ass. Some people understand, some won't. Quite frankly, I don't care. I ain't trying to be friends with anybody. I ain't trying to be popular. I'm just trying to end the fucking corruption in Jefferson County. And any other parts of government, whether it be state or federal, I can get my fucking mitts into. If I can bring down the whole fucking diseased, corrupted temple, I will. And I won't lose a minute's sleep about it. Not that I really sleep anyway, but figuratively, you get what I'm saying. And on that note, peace. Y'all have a good one.